We've already talked about each of these 3 decks just a little bit, but I think kind of some of the big stories out of EUIC were the fact that Gardevoir, Miraidon, and Lugia were all expected to be very popular and very good decks in the format.
I think
Um,
Lugia was maybe the standout of those of being like, well, Miraidon's getting popular. Can Lugia still compete? But
yeah,
yeah, for sure.
they all had poor performances at EUIC.
Yeah.
Do you think they can bounce back in Vancouver? Which of the 3, maybe rank the 3. Let's do that. Rank the 3 most likely to bounce back, least likely to bounce back.
Um, Honestly, I think I this so Gardevoir did the best out of the 3 at UIC, like, across the board. Like, Sebastian was on the winning in to get a Gardevoir into cut, and there was some Gardevoirs in top 32. And there's more Gardevoirs sprinkled out throughout the higher placings than the other 2. But I think it's the worst of the 3 decks overall. Maybe not for UIC specifically, but I think moving like, going to Vancouver, I like it the least out of the other 2, and I'd probably rate Lugia and Miraidon about the same. I actually think Lugia is lining up to be, like, a pretty good play for Vancouver, um, because of stuff like Golden Go and Archaludon being more popular. I think, like this is what I kinda said going into this format. Like, I think Lugia the way to build Lugia is just like a sliding scale of rats. You go from 0 Chinchino to 2 Chinchino, and I think we're going to the 2 Chinchino side of the scale as we go into Vancouver because of Golden Go, because of Archaludon being so popular. And I think Miraidon is gonna come down in play rate, and I think you have a good I think you're slightly favored against Cloth Terapagos, maybe solidly favored. Your Dragapult matchup, feels like it's about 50-50 with the Temple of Sinnoh involved, but some people aren't even playing Temple of Sinnoh, and I could see people cutting Temple of Sinnoh as well going into Vancouver because of Lugia's lack of success at UIC. And with I think Miraidon will come down and play as well. The only, I guess, like, new like, the deck that could see it might see a little bit of a surge going to Vancouver could be Lost Box, but besides that, I think Lugia is pretty well placed, and I think Miraidon is also decently placed as well, because I expect Archaudon to be, like, less popular. That was, like, the big one for, like, me personally. Now I will say this about Miraidon, I think if you're playing the Secret Box, I think there's a big difference between Prime Catcher Miraidon and Secret Box Miraidon. I think Secret Box Miraidon is probably, like, a tier 4 deck. I think Prime Catcher Miraidon is like a tier 2, tier 3 deck. I think there's a big difference between the 2 decks right now in terms of being able to compete against the big decks in the format, like Dragapult, like Guard4. So I think there's a pretty distinct difference in terms of how good each of them are. But I think if you're playing Prime Catcher Miraidon, I think the deck's pretty good as well going into the tournament. Gardevoir, I just don't. I feel like there's not enough upside for Gardevoir, but maybe Gardevoir just needs to like switch up how it's being played because I think one thing Gardevoir probably has to do. I think Drifloons and Braver Charms have to come back in bigger numbers to compete with the Golden Goes and like Archaludons and stuff like that. Like if you look at like Sebastian's list, even though he did make it to the win it in, like that list, I feel like is probably going to struggle against something like a Golden Go deck. To be honest, he had no Bravery Charm, no Drifloon, no Hero's Cape, no big one hit KO potential. So I feel
Yeah.
like that. And then it's cool how Gardevoir has so many different sides to it. Like there's so many different ways to play the deck. I think the way Gardevoir decks have to be played right now probably has to shift a little bit, and I think we'll probably see. I don't even want to say like more success from it than UIC because it did fine at UIC. Gardevoir's such a good, powerful, versatile deck. Like uh, even if you're not playing some stuff like the Brave Charms, like the Drifloons, there's still so much that can do. I think there probably has to be a shift in how it's built moving into Vancouver. But yeah, I am liking Rada and Lugia right now. I think they're pretty good plays.